Everybody's in a good mood? I put my glasses. There they are. Okay. I'm Megyn Kelly with Fox News, as you know. As the world watches the presidential candidates debate foreign policy, taxes, the economy, and other things important to the general public, those in the clinical research industry are left wondering where the candidates stand issues important to them. So now please welcome the real debate on the real issues important to us. Now for introductions. We apologize that Governor Cassidy could not join us today, but we have Senator Ted Cruz. We're going to start on the right. Senator Ted Cruz. Give Senator Cruz a big hand, please. Mr. Donald Trump. Secretary Hillary Clinton. And Senator Bernie Sanders. Oh, Secretary Clinton. Welcome. Glad you could join us today.
Sorry, running a little late, running on PI time.
PI time? No. She was on a Novartis educational cruise in Boston Harbor.
Okay. Now that we're all here, we're going to jump right into the questions. Mr. Trump, we know your views on trade and trade immigration, but how do you feel about clinical studies migrating out of the United States, and what can we do to bring them back?
Megyn, before answering your question, I just want to clarify something that I said in the first debate. I want to make it clear, you're a beautiful, beautiful woman, and not the type of woman that would have blood coming out of everywhere. So, isn't she a beautiful woman, everybody? Give her a hand. You think Megyn's beautiful.
Well, thank you, Mr. Trump, for your sincere apology.
It wasn't an apology. Just a clarification. Now let me tell you, when I'm president, we're going to do tons of studies. They're going to be great. They're going to be so well run. The sponsors are not going to want to go to China or Russia, which are my personal friends, by the way. We're going to get lots of sponsors. I get along with all the sponsors. We're going to cure all kinds of diseases, and everyone's going to make lots of money, even the sites.
Thank you, Mr. Trump. Senator Cruz, what do you think of OHRP's notice of proposed rulemaking? Won't this greatly decrease the supply of biospecimens?
Sure it will, but I'd like to go back to the previous question on studies migrating out of the United States. We have so many regulations that it is impossible to conduct research. When I'm elected, we are going to consolidate and reduce all regulations related to clinical trials to 3 pages. And that means all 5 major regulating bodies, FDA, CMS, OHRP, CMS, and ORC, HIPAA, all five.
Senator Cruz, that's a good list, but I think you mentioned only 4, not 5 agencies. I think you mentioned CMS twice.
Okay, Kelly, just don't give me a 483. The rules on Medicare billing are so confusing and contradictory. It will take twice the effort to make them make any sense at all.
Thank you, Senator Cruz. Senator Clinton, your campaign has been laced with scandal. How do you reassure the research community that we can trust you?
Well, first, I know I've been criticized for many things, but I just need to set the record straight. My foundation's donation accounting processes have been in compliance with the OMB uniform guidance and the PHS conflict of interest regulations. All my filing cabinets are locked and secure, and my email server is FDA Part 11 compliant.
Look at her. Look at her face. How could you get in a clinical trial with that face?
Mr. Trump, please wait your turn. Senator Sanders, what are your plans to help the clinical trial industry? Excuse me, I know you've been very vocal on this topic. What are your plans?
Well, okay, as I've already said, I believe in education for all, free education for all. Similarly, I think it's clinical trials for everyone. Those exclusionary criteria are keeping people away from it. We need to open them up more. Clinical trials are a mess. Investigators are not trained. Studies are not recruiting because of those darn exclusionary criteria, of course. We have global warming affecting the drug storage. Don't forget, Pope Francis and I were talking about this just the other week. And indeed, we have Wall Street sponsors, those greedy, greedy drug companies that are not paying their full share, that are charging too much, and withholding 10% of the fees. Clinical trials are simply a mess. When I'm president, everybody will get GCP training for free, including the subjects. And they want it. We will fix income inequality and make sure that coordinators and PIs are paid fairly with equity. No more $15 an hour for coordinators. They will go up to more. Subjects will get also an increase in their benefits, increase in their fees, increase in their payment. No more just compensating them. We need to give them real income.
Thank you.
You're all talk. You're all talk and no action. You're like a placebo. As a matter of fact, you need a nickname. I got Lion Ted, Crook and Hillary. You're placebo burn.
No, I'm a socialist, a social democrat socialist, not a communist socialist. Always remember that.
Thank you, Senator Sanders and Mr. Trump. Mr. Trump, please stop interrupting. Yeah, please, you don't see it that way, but please don't. Please stop. Senator Cruz, what else would you do?
Okay, I'll stop interrupting.
Senator Cruz, what else would you do to help the clinical research enterprise?
Well, think about this. Under President Obama and Hillary Clinton, we got the NPRM to change to the Common Rule. We got the Sunshine Act and risk-based monitoring. Are you ready for 4 more years of more regulations and unfunded mandates? Well, when I'm president, I'm going to get rid of all this useless paperwork so sponsors and investigators can submit for FDA approval on a postcard.
Senator Clinton, your name was invoked, so you have an opportunity to comment.
Look, I know what it's like to do clinical trials. I'm one of you people. My husband enacted the Medicare clinical trial policy and gave apology for the Tuskegee studies. After we got out of the White House, I was so poor, I considered a clinical trial. But then I found out I only paid $1,500, so I went to giving public speeches. In fact, I can remember being a keynote speaker in Belgrade and going to the podium to give my presentation under fire.
You see, again and again, you get all this money from Wall Street pharma companies to do your talks. Look at the companies that have paid you. They've all been cited for bribery, for kickbacks, for problems, and for drug inflation. There's too bad there's no Sunshine Act for you. If you saw my income, you would see I don't travel like you. I fly coach, usually standby. In addition, I have 2 suits. 2. One's at the cleaners, and I'm wearing the other one. When I'm president, we're going to use that sunshine data to give all these Wall Street pharma companies sunburn. Get it? Sunburn.
Senator Clinton, back to you. You've talked about how under Republican administrations, women are not fairly represented among investigators and study subjects. What would you do to bring more women into clinical trials?
I'm sorry, that's just not true.
Mitt? Mitt Romney? What is it here?
4 years ago, I have binders of women. Binders. Breakdown binders, TNMF binders. Binders. Cool.
Thank you, Mr. Romney. Maybe next election. Okay. That was Senator Clinton's question, and let's see what her answer is. excuse me. We're going to move on to Senator Sanders. Senator, the U.S. has been criticized about failed attempts to have more minorities participate in clinical trials. What would you do to help with minorities?
Race? No, the issue isn't race. The issue is not race. Look here, look at the audience. It doesn't look like race is such an issue. This actually looks like one of my rallies. So, I don't see race. If I were a CRC and I had to fill out an ECRF, well, I would leave it blank. The sponsor would query me and I would say, query me all you want. I'm not answering that.
Well, thank you, Senator Sanders. Mr. Trump, what else would you do to improve the quality of running clinical trials?
Well, I just want to say that I'm the only only person on this stage that has PI support. Ben Carson was a physician. He endorses me. He's a physician. He went through med school, so obviously he knows what it means to be a PI. And plus, Lion Ted here, he's Canadian. He has no idea what an FDA is.
Calm down, Donald. Take your trial medication and report your hair as an SAE, please.
Mr. Trump, please answer the question and try really hard to stop insulting everybody.
Well, let me just say this. CRCs are the salt of the earth. They're the hardest working people I know, and I know thousands of CRCs, and they all love me, and I know CRAs and PIs too, but we're going to build a wall around every research site, and the sponsors are going to pay for it. And we're going to kick everybody out, and you won't be able to come back in until you're trained and certified on how to conduct clinical research.
Thank you, Mr. Trump. So thank you, everyone. We're out of time. I know you need to get back to Indiana. So let's give a special thank you to all the candidates. Remember to vote based on the real issues in this campaign. And before we do that, let me list the players here. We have, I'm going to let the cat out of the bag, really. Donald Trump is played by author David Vulcano. Hillary Clinton played by the lovely Donna Dorozinsky. The Burn played by John Baumann. Ted Cruz played by Gualberto Perez. Special guest appearance by Alford as Mitt Romney. And I'm your moderator, Megyn Kelly. Thank you all.